You know, artificial intelligence makes these incredibly complex decisions every single day. But how it gets to those answers, well, that's often a complete mystery. It's like a black box. So today, we're going to pry that box open and shed some light on what's really going on inside.
Okay, so picture this. You apply for a loan that you really need, and you get rejected. The system just says no, and that's it. No explanation. Was it your credit score, your income, something else you don't even know about? And that's a huge problem when we're trusting automated systems with these kinds of high-stakes decisions.
And that's really the core issue we're talking about. When an AI model makes a prediction, its internal logic can be so incredibly complex that even the people who built it can't easily explain it. This opacity, this black box, makes it really, really hard to trust the outcomes. But what if we could open that box? Well, that's exactly where a tool like AWS SageMaker Clarify comes into play. It's designed specifically to bring transparency to the table, helping us understand how and why an AI model makes the decisions it does.
See, the ultimate goal here isn't just to build powerful AI. It's to build AI that we can actually depend on. And that means creating systems that are not only effective, but also ethical and, most importantly, fundamentally trustworthy. Tools like Clarify are absolutely crucial for getting us there.
So, where do we even begin to build that trust? Well, the foundation has to be fairness. Before we can even look at a single decision, we have to make sure the model itself isn't built on a biased foundation. And that's Clarify's first major job, detecting and uncovering unfairness.
Bias can creep in right from the very beginning. I mean, think about it. If the data we use to train a model is skewed, let's say it has way more examples from one group than another, the model is just going to learn that imbalance. Clarify can scan your dataset and flag these issues before you even start training.
But it's not just the starting data, right? Bias can also show up in the model's actual predictions. This happens when the model's outcomes consistently favor one group over another, even when their qualifications are pretty much the same. Clarify helps you spot if your model is producing these systematically unfair results.
And this is what that bias can look like in practice. SageMaker Clarify can generate a report just like this. And what we're seeing here, I mean, this is a massive red flag. Just look at that huge disparity. Group A is being approved at a much, much higher rate than Group B. This is exactly the kind of prediction bias we need to catch. So, finding the bias, that is a critical first step. But it's not enough. Just knowing it's there doesn't fix it. To solve the problem, we've got to understand its root cause. What factors are actually driving this unfair outcome? And that leads us to the second core capability of Clarify.
This brings us to explainability. Once we know a model might have some bias, Clarify helps us dig way deeper to reveal the why behind any single prediction. It actually breaks down the decision-making process into pieces we can understand.
And the way it works is actually pretty straightforward. First, the model makes its prediction. Then, Clarify gets to work analyzing every single piece of information that went into that decision. And finally, it gives you a clear breakdown of which factors were the most influential.
Okay, let's circle back to our original example, that denied loan application. The model flagged this person as high risk. We've already seen that the model might be biased, but now we can use Clarify to see exactly why this specific application was rejected.
So the technical term for this is feature attribution. Basically, what it does is it tests the importance of each piece of data, like income, age, or credit history. It kind of asks what would happen to the prediction if this feature was different, or if it just wasn't here at all. By doing that for every single feature, it can assign a score showing how much each one pushed the model's final decision one way or the other.
And boom, here it is. This is the kind of report Clarify can give you. Now we can see exactly what influenced that high-risk prediction. The high debt-to-income ratio, that had a huge negative impact, pushing the decision towards denial. But check this out. A steady employment history was actually a positive factor. And this is actionable information. A developer can now see which features are having the biggest impact. A loan officer could even use this to explain the decision, saying, hey, your employment history is great, but the debt-to-income ratio is the main flag here. It totally transforms a no into a conversation.
So when you tie this all together, combining the bias detection with this powerful explainability, we finally get to the ultimate goal, building real, justifiable trust in our artificial intelligence systems.
It's really a tale of two different approaches. On one side, you've got the black box, it's opaque, it's potentially unfair, and it's just plain difficult to trust. But on the other side, with tools like Clarify, you get transparent AI. It's explainable, you can audit it for fairness, and it's actually worthy of our confidence.
At the end of the day, it all comes down to a really simple idea. When you can actually see inside the box and understand the reasoning, it fundamentally changes your relationship with the technology. This is why transparency is the absolute bedrock of trust. So I want to leave you with this critical question to think about. As AI becomes more and more integrated into our lives, from loan applications all the way to medical diagnoses, how we answer this is going to define the future of the technology we build. That's all for this explainer. Thanks for joining me.